This was supposed to be a bonding. My nephew called me and told me that he was taking his Wichita basketball team to Atlanta for a tournament and asked if I wanted to join him. I was like, yeah, shit, that'd be a nice little weekend because I heard a lot about Atlanta and I was excited. Well, 2 days before we were supposed to take off, he called and told me the bad news that 4 of his players were sick and they weren't going. But I already had these non-refundable tickets, so what the hell? Off to Atlanta. I took the shuttle from the airport to the hotel and got another downer. They must have used a magnifying glass to take a picture of this hotel. It was so tiny that I could almost touch the walls like that, And there was no fitness room, no hot breakfast. I figured no wonder this mug was so cheap. And but it didn't stink. And I wasn't there for the room, so I'd heard about Buckhead, so I got dressed and headed down for Buckhead. Buckhead is a party area. So I got down there, I'm partying and drinking and dancing up all these women. But I couldn't get any of them to go home with me that night, which was probably a good thing because, I had this miniature room and they wouldn't have. So the next morning I got up, went to find another hotel, but was a lot better than the one I was in. It was just a little bit more, so I moved out. And I asked the worker there, I'm a single guy in Atlanta. I say, hey, man, where the strip clubs at? And he told me it was a nice one a few blocks away. So, I got dressed, and that night I went down there, put a couple of $100 in my pocket, and I was totally unprepared for how fine these damn women were. See, I'm a butt man, and if ass was gas, shit, these women could cruise all night long, and there were no booty dudes, their belly stick out way further than their booty do. And this one in particular, I called her Beyonce. She came up to me wearing nothing but a window pane dress with no panes in the windows and asked me if I wanted a lap dance. Well, hell yeah, So after a few dances, she stuck around and we were talking and we talked about poetry. And I told her I wrote and performed poetry and she wanted to hear a few of them. And I did. And the way she leaned into me told me she liked them. And then she told me that there was an open mic place on Sundays, not too far from downtown. And, you can go in there and sign up and get on the mic. And then she went to the back, came back out dressed in jeans and a T-shirt, told me she had to go. Well, we've been rubbing on each other and drinking, and I thought, But she let me know right off that wasn't happening. She had a partner, but sometimes they did invite somebody else to the bed. And I'm like, hell no. Yeah, that ain't happening. She just laughed and blew me a kiss and said, maybe I'll see you Sunday, and she drove off. Well, Saturday I went back to Buckhead. And this time it was wilder and freakier than ever before. And this woman she was backing all up on me, and I was spanking her ass and rubbing, and she was fondling me. And we agreed to get on out of there. And as we're headed back for her car, another guy comes up alongside her, and she looks at him and says, honey, he wants to do me. Then she looked at me, you don't mind if hubby joins us in bed? And I'm like, what the fuck? So as the taxi is driving, the driver's taking me back to my hotel, I told him what happened and told him this is the second time. And I said, man, what is this a thing in Atlanta? What the fuck? And he told me, yeah, Atlanta is crazy, freaky, off the chain, So Sunday rolled around, and I said, well, at least I'll get to hear some poetry. So I go up there and I sign up, get me a table and a drink, and sure enough, Beyonce walks in, turning heads. She's wearing shorts and a tank top, and she looks around and she looks my way, and I wave at her, and she waves back at me, and incredibly, she comes to sit at my table, right? So we're sitting there talking. I buy her a drink. Then she buys me a drink, and then we do that verbal footsie that lets you know that it's on. So when they called me to the mic, I was feeling myself. I was going to be contrary. So when I got up there, even though she was Beyonce flavored, I got up there and did my ode to dark-skinned women poem, telling how much I love chocolate women. And when I got off the stage, she was looking at me with her arms folded, and I was like, oh, fuck, what did I do? Then she said, how did you know? I said, what? How did you know that I love dark chocolate too? Then she turned to this apparition that fit all my dreams and said, Tony, this is Naya, my roommate. Naya slid past my offered hand and gave me this warm hug as she gave me that full body squeeze and licked my earlobe and said, I see why Diane was so impressed with you. Well, I've had two women in bed before, but never two women that looked as good as they did, and never two women who attacked each other and me with so much fervor. I was thinking, like when she was talking about that astrophysics, that's kind of how I felt, like an out-of-body experience, like, damn, you know? And then I got to experience the transcendent joy of two lips, licking two lips, then joined by another two lips. That was a clitorious evening. Thank you very much.